The trenches of the Somme, October 1916. Rain turns everything to mud, the walls, the duckboards, the men themselves. Private James Whitmore huddles against the firing step, writing a letter by candlelight while shells whistle overhead. "My dearest Margaret," he writes, "I think of you always." An explosion nearby, dirt rains down, the candle goes out. "Whitmore," Sergeant Collins barks, "command wants you now." James follows Collins through the maze of trenches to a dugout marked with fresh sandbags. Inside, Colonel Harrington stands beside something covered by a tarpaulin. Also present is a thin man in civilian clothes, Professor Aldrich from the War Office's Special Projects Division. "Private Whitmore," Harrington begins, "you were a telegraph operator before the war." "Yes, sir, 3 years with the post office." Aldrich steps forward. "What I'm about to show you is classified beyond measure." He pulls back the tarpaulin, revealing a strange device. Brass and copper wiring forming an intricate helmet connected to what appears to be a modified field telegraph. "We call it the remembrance engine," Aldrich explains. "It captures the final 60 seconds of neural activity from a dying soldier's brain and transmits it via telegraph signal." James stares. "I don't understand, sir." "The dying brain," Aldrich continues, his eyes gleaming, "experiences a surge of electrical activity. Memories, thoughts, messages, all compressed into those final moments. This device reads and transmits them. Think of it, no soldier dies alone. Every man's last thoughts preserved, sent home to loved ones, a final goodbye that actually arrives." I said the fool. Act 2. Within a week, James is trained as an RE operator. His job, when the stretcher bearers bring in the mortally wounded, he places the helmet on them and transcribes their final transmissions. The first soldier is young, barely 18. As he dies, the telegraph clicks frantically. James transcribes, "Tell mother her Sunday roast was always perfect. Tell father I tried to be brave. Tell Annie I'm sorry about the frog in her bedsheets." James sends it to the boy's family in Yorkshire. The response days later speaks of tears and gratitude. Word spreads through the trenches. Soldiers begin seeking James out, making him promise to be there when their time comes. The device becomes a comfort. Death seems less frightening when you know your last message will reach home, but James begins noticing patterns. The transmissions are too clean, too coherent. Real dying thoughts should be fragmented, chaotic. These read like letters home. One night he stays late in the communications dugout and discovers a second set of wires leading from the remembrance engine into the earth. He follows them through the mud to another dugout, where he finds Aldrich seated at a modified telegraph key typing. "You're writing them," James says. "The messages, they're all you." Aldrich doesn't deny it. The device reads neural activity, yes, but dying thoughts are exactly what you'd expect. Terror, confusion, meaningless fragments, hardly a comfort to grieving families. "So you lie to them." "I give them what they need, clean endings, proper goodbyes. Would you rather send a mother, it hurts, where are my legs? Or would you rather send, tell mother I love her?" James realizes the horrible logic of it. The lies are kinder than the truth. Act 3. James continues his work, now complicit in the deception. He watches Aldrich craft perfect final messages, each one tailored to bring maximum comfort to specific families based on intelligence files. Then comes the morning when German artillery finds their section. In the chaos, Aldrich is struck by shrapnel, mortally wounded. As he bleeds out in the mud, he grabs James's hand. "The helmet," he gasps. "Put it on me. Let them know. Let my wife know." James places the remembrance engine on Aldrich's head. The telegraph begins its clicking. But this time, James doesn't transcribe Aldrich's invented message. He transcribes what actually comes through, the real neural firing of a dying brain. "Afraid, afraid, afraid, wasted life, all lies built, nothing real. Afraid, afraid, darkness coming, Martha. Forgive me, I loved you, but not enough, afraid, Afra." The transmission ends. James sits in the mud, looking at the page. Then he tears it up and writes a new message. "Tell Martha her love sustained me through everything." Tell her I regret nothing. Tell her I died thinking of our garden in spring. He sends it. Fee. Epilogue. 6 months later. The war is over. James stands in a London telegraph office, back in civilian clothes. A woman enters, Martha Aldrich, dressed in mourning black. She carries a worn telegram. Mr. Whitmore, they said you were with my husband at the end. James nods. His message, she says, eyes wet with tears. It brought me such comfort. To know his last thoughts were of our garden, of beauty, of peace. She clasps his hands in gratitude and leaves. James watches her go, then returns to his telegraph key. He has become Aldrich now, hired by the War Office to continue the work. A stack of photographs sits on his desk. Soldiers who died today in military hospitals, their families waiting for final messages that James will invent. He begins typing, "My dearest mother," as I write this final message. Outside, London rebuilds itself on comfortable lies. The telegraph clicks on, sending ghosts of words from men who died with only screams in their throats, their true final moments buried beneath messages crafted by a stranger who learned that sometimes the kindest thing is a careful fiction. In the corner of the office, a newer model of the remembrance engine sits under a sheet. This one, the engineers promise, can capture not just the last minute, but the last hour. James wonders what stories he'll have to tell then, what elaborate fictions he'll craft from the extended terror of dying slowly. He keeps typing. The machine keeps clicking. Somewhere a mother reads about her son's peaceful final thoughts and finds the strength to continue. The lies flow down the wires, more vital than truth.